Panther Metals is focused on exploration in Canada. It's been a year of transition, and to talk about that, I'm delighted to be joined by Chief Executive Darren Hazelwood. So, Darren, last time I saw you, you were very busy hosting meetings at the Resourcing Tomorrow event. You look tired and yet energized, and you were among the big boys there. Rio Tinto was also attending. So, did Panther belong there?
Hey, good morning, Sarah. Thanks for having us on. Yeah, look, representatives from the value chain were there, and that's clearly where our contribution fits in. The show was a delight to end the year on for me as CEO. Talking to the industry, it was clear just about on every metric the industry got it. They understood, and look, all explorers have faced challenges over the last 12 months. This has been a brutal market. But to finish the year on such a high, and we had a huge amount of positive contribution from that. We continue to engage directly from the show. Yes, Panther Metals absolutely should be there and will be returning.
So, what are these metrics that the industry gets? What is it that Panther has that the industry is saying, yeah, we're interested?
Well, look, on our display, with a strap line on there was discovering the next mining district in Canada, and that's a huge statement from a junior. And if you put that on there, you've got to justify it, and we certainly justified it. Obonga is a remarkable asset for any junior to have, but for a junior to have that in Canada, in Ontario, in a province built on mining that has more active mines than most provinces globally, and people can see that this greenstone belt is underexplored. It really should be within a major's portfolio. It's not. We're fortunate. We've put this together as a business, and now we're starting to reap the rewards in terms of engagement and people within the industry taking us very seriously.
Okay, so you mentioned Obonga there. So, is Obonga the only active component within the portfolio?
Oh no, it's quite the opposite, Sarah. You've got Manitou Lakes. We recently completed a maiden drill program there. We drilled 503 meters. Manitou is a remarkable property. We're actually almost surrounded by a company called Dryden Gold, and they'll be listing on the TSXV. Actually, their last stated aim was this December. Whether that drifts into the new year, it wouldn't surprise me with market conditions, etc. But the Dryden team is a team that people should look at and review. These guys 2 years ago sold a company for circa 250 million Canadian. They're exceptionally well connected. They know how to do deals. They know how to build value and then to turn that value into capital. And with them all around us at Manitou, with us drilling, we've clearly got an exceptional project. And you can then look over to Dotted Lake. Dotted Lake is another project that over this year we've got Glencore have bought into Palladium One. Palladium One have stated they're in the process of discovering the next nickel district in Ontario, and Glencore have bought in on that. Again, the industry have confirmed the thesis with Palladium One. Now they're saying it's 20 kilometers long. Actually, with Dotted Lake, that would make it 30 kilometers long. And at Dotted Lake, we've got drill permits in. We've got the highest in-soil values of copper, nickel, and cobalt in that location. If you look at the exploration model Palladium One have worked on, Dotted Lake would fit right at the top of that tree in terms of drilling. We've got drill permit applications in. For us, it's about getting the drill bit in at Dotted Lake. We could do deals at Manitou today. We could do deals at Dotted Lake today. But the realities are that the value wouldn't be there. And where our greatest upside is going to come on those projects is to actually discover something that we don't require. It'd be great to get the absolute knockout hole that the market's always after. But if we can just show concept on these properties, we are going to get interest. And look, we would look to potentially liquidate those interests as we gear towards our focus onto Obonga, because Obonga is a district. It's an area that we've discovered multiple VMS on there already. We have the conduit targets. We haven't drilled out a tooth that we believe is another VMS, and we're only just scratching the surface there. So, but people in Canada get that, and I think London is slowly waking up. And look, as they wake up, the direction of travel can only go one way for the business.
So you mentioned liquidation there. Which components of your portfolio are currently hibernating and dormant, and why? Can't you just liquidate them, sell them to raise finance for drilling campaigns at Obonga, at Manitou Lakes?
Look, we have no dormant parts of our portfolio. If you look at our asset base, we don't have a half-inch thick brochure. And that's by design. We traded off Big Bear at a huge premium to what we'd invested. Our Australian assets, we sit on a premium via our shareholding in Panther Metals Australia on what we invested into those assets. But now we're left with our core projects, which are Manitou, Dotted Lake, and Obonga, and there is nothing that at this stage we would get rid of by any stretch of the imagination, because all of it is extremely prospective. And what we've got to do is just prove up a little bit of the geology, and then it's going to be all bets off.
Now, listen, you mentioned Panther Metals Limited Australia. So how is it progressing, and how do Panther Metals PLC shareholders benefit?
Well, Australia's suffered the same way as us. Those guys have now been listed 2 years. And in that time they've taken Coglia from nothing to a 70 million plus ton deposit, nickel laterite deposit, and the share price performance over there has been frankly brutal. It looks like they're going to add to that tonnage. They've got a great plan going forward. If you look at the commodity, the known commodity in the ground, you're already talking probably $2.5 billion in contained metal value. And I know that their recoveries were very good in some of the metallurgical work they conducted. I think they're maybe trying to take this down a direction of production. And on a heap leach basis, that's very affordable for a junior. I think they're now developing into a really exciting company that the market's kind of overlooking at this point. But again, I think they sit on a pivot point in terms of market lows and their direction of travel, because their direction of travel is exceptionally positive, and we've been delighted to have our holding in the business.
Again, it's important to remind investors that you are not part of the management team of Panther Metals Limited, but at the same time as having your own assets, you own pockets and other listed entities. So does this not make for a really sort of clunky family tree with its knots and arterial branches?
Look, I think we need to conceptualize that. The realities are we own 23.5% in Panther Metals Australia. We also own 20% of Fulcrum Metals, which are an AIM-listed company in the UK. And that's it outside of our exploration portfolio. And those are actually very handy. As crazy as this market is, they add up to getting on for 70% of our current market cap in their listed value. And that kind of sums up the London market and its understanding And but that's down to me to educate London. And look, I'm going to be doing a roadshow through the city in January, and really building the understanding. Mines and Money, I'm still working with people from Mines and Money in some detail. And I was talking to somebody only yesterday. It's and they're building a report independently on us as a direct result of a meeting at Mines and Money, and they said we're the only company that really shocked them, that they didn't appreciate what we had. But we've got plans to make sure that our shareholders win, and as part of that, we were constantly reviewing our portfolio, and as and when the time comes, we'll make sure that cap that we release capital where we can, when we can at a sensible time, and that capital will be driven to the major discoveries that create the 200, 300, $400 million company.
Okay, you talked about Mines and Money there. I mean, you and I have been educated by the marketing lady at Resourcing Tomorrow who says it's not Mines and Money anymore, it's Resourcing Tomorrow. But old timers like you and I are still referring to it as Mines and Money, but we will get told off. So it's Resourcing Tomorrow. Now, before we talk about the market in detail, because it has been brutal this year, you have gone native, Darren, developing strong links with regional government in Canada, particularly Ontario, where you're based, First Nations, you've got a good rapport. So there's an expectation from them that you, Panther Metals, is going to find something significant and they are going to benefit. Will they?
I've been saying for some time that Canada understands. Canada gets what we've potentially got. You've got to remember, Sarah, that we've put 5 holes into one area at Wishbone. In those 5 holes, we've discovered 4 separate lenses. Every one of those lenses could potentially contain a deposit. But not only that, we've actually discovered mineralization at a commercial level. We got 0.5 meter of zinc at 11.8%. We're the first company to achieve that on Obonga. And but what this does is confirm to us that the greenstone belt contains mineralization at mineable grades. And now it's a case of stepping out. We've had one of the foremost geologists on VMS deposits globally look at our VMS, and he's confirmed, along with Leanne, that this is a subseafloor VMS, and that they maintain, they believe we've drilled the core of that VMS. Now, I won't get into the technicalities, but on a subseafloor VMS, due to the temperature changes not happening immediately like they do on a standard black smoker VMS, it means that the commodities drop out slightly further away from the core of the VMS, and leaving the core of the VMS itself on the subseafloor barren. So that's exactly the process that we believe happened. The advantages of subseafloor VMS, they are traditionally a lot better for grade, and they're also a lot better for tonnage. So this is another string to our bow as we continue to step out at Wishbone. So, and that's just a small area. I say small, it's actually probably 10 kilometers. We've got survey. We've put one drill hole into a 3 kilometer by 0.5 kilometer anomaly. And that drill hole confirmed that the survey area is another VMS. We've got the conduit target up north at Awkward. We've got Ottertooth we haven't drilled. You know, rightly so. Everybody's expecting something quite extraordinary from Obonga, and so are we.
Right, so you mentioned Leanne there. This is very important because she is a geologist of renown. She's a chief executive in her own right. She knows about staking claims in Canada. She's worked for the majors. She's sticking with Panther Metals PLC. So the fact that she wants to be involved in itself, I think, should send a big signal to the market.
Oh yeah, and that involvement's growing. I'm not going to go into details, but our planning for 2024 is largely in place on Obonga. and the plan, Leanne will be right at the heart of that, and for very good reasons. It would be a two-phased approach, and we're going to have to work out how we market this, because something that is clear is that people don't get in London that we're actually got a district scale opportunity. But yeah, we'll be drilling and we'll be exploring on Obonga, because Obonga holds a potential for further gold deposits. There's other areas of VMS potential where BHP drilled in the early 90s. But yeah, we're working on that, and we're exceptionally fortunate to have somebody of Leanne's standing within the company and within the exploration on this project. And actually, Leanne came over for Mines and Money, Sarah, and it was very telling, the response that she got. She's a smart cookie, and again, she's an element within the business that London doesn't really understand, but potentially why Canada does get this so clearly.
So the market is impatient, Darren. So you talk about opportunity and potential. I think what shareholders are wanting to hear is discovery. Once a discovery has been made, I think the market gets it. Or maybe the market doesn't get what an explorer is all about.
I'd agree. I don't think London does. I don't think London understands the processes that an explorer has to go through. I think it's very telling that you know, we've had a number of offers from Canada for financing into some high seven-figure numbers. That's not by mistake. Canada does understand the processes that are required, and these are there's multi elements to this. You have to make sure that your relationships are good locally. You have to make sure that you have the networks within the government. You have to make sure that that your assets are in good standing, and we've done that, and we've achieved all that, and that's why this year you've seen more of a change in terms of what we've been doing, is to make sure that all those things are in place. We've had there's two huge companies that are knocking on our door asking when we're going to drill Awkward, for instance, the conduit, and but to do that and to make sure that we can benefit to the best of our abilities, then we've got to make sure that everything else is in place, and that's what we've done.
So Darren, right at the beginning, I said that this was a year of transition. Within that year of transition, I can see that you've gone from one broker to three. So what was the mindset behind that initiative?
Really, it's quite simple. I'm cognizant of our direction of travel here, and for us to achieve that, we need a couple of things. We need more noise in the market. We need more people talking about Panther, and that will be a natural process of bringing in two extra brokers. But the main concept is actually to bring in some competition within our broker network, so that I will be and am monitoring what the brokers are doing. And as a corporate, when you've got one broker, it's great. But also it's easier to manage and everything else around that. But you need competition at every single stage of the business. And frankly, with one broker, there is no competition. So you've got one point of conversation. You've got one opinion. And I've always said that this is not an ego-driven business. This business is about, its sole aim is to provide returns for shareholders. And that's my sole objective. And for me to bring in additional brokers is actually to increase that competition, so there's more value to be derived for our shareholders and for the business.
So 2024 then, more action, less talk, or do the two go hand in hand? I'm thinking 2024, would it include delisting, going private, or having a TSX listing in Canada, where the suggestion is Canadian investors get it more than those here?
It's not a suggestion, Sarah. Far from it. I can provide written evidence of just to what degree Canadian investors get this. Look, we've got a greenstone belt. The greenstone belt to our east had 5 producing mines, all at commercial level. The greenstone belt to our west has actually got a gold mine being built at the moment by Equinox. We've got greenstone belts to our south that are producing. We've got greenstone belts to our north. We own over 90% and have access to over 90% of this entire greenstone belt by design. It's an extraordinary thing that we've got.
I'm just
But
wondering.
2023 has been about positioning whilst maintaining the structure of the business. 2024 is about action and a lot of it. And what we will be doing, you're going to see me use the elements within the business to make sure that we're driving all of our focus up to Obonga, and that we're giving Obonga the due care and attention that it rightly deserves. Because yes, the locals, the government, they are expecting good things from here, and rightly so.
Many thanks. Darren Hazelwood, Chief Executive of Panther Metals. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Sarah. Listen, I just want to wish everybody a happy Christmas and a prosperous New Year. It's been tough out there for everyone. And we recognise that it's been tough for corporates. I know nobody's going to feel sorry for us, but also, even within the city, the broker network, capital has been challenging. I hear lots of positivity coming out of the city regarding the sector into 2024, rightly so. Just on absolute fundamentals, the commodities across the globe are running into trouble within a really short time frame. And my own personal view is that you will see this feed through dramatically into 2024, because these shortages are coming within 2-3 years on just about the whole bed of commodities. So this could be fantastic timing for everyone.
I'll see you at resourcing tomorrow, next December, Darren. Thank you.
I look forward to joining Minds and Money, Sarah. Take care and have a lovely Christmas yourself.